we'll go ahead and get started. My name is Colleen Unroe. I work with DEP in the policy office as William Hanna Penn Fellow, and also in conjunction with the Energy Programs Office. We are excited to have you here, a part of our latest edition of the Clean Energy Opportunity Spotlight Series that Sarah and I launched last fall. We host a number of different conversations about various programs that could be of benefit to you as an individual, a municipality, a nonprofit, business, any variety. And we are recording this so people can benefit regardless of whether or not they're joining today. We'll go ahead and I'll turn it over to Elena, who is going to get us started, and we'll have an opportunity for a discussion after the presentations, and we're happy to have you here.
Great. Thank you, Colleen. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elena Schmieder. I am an energy program specialist with DEP and work with the Pennsylvania Energy Development Authority, also known as PEDA. We're here to talk about the MORE program, which opened last year. It opened as a grant and continues to be open as a loan. We'll go over where the program is right now and how it benefits Pennsylvania local governments. Next slide, please. So here you'll see the agenda. I'll go over some general program details, and then we'll hear from Scott Albrecht from Richards Energy Group about what's included in a level 2 energy audit, as well as the value that they provide. And then last, we're going to hear from Trey Muffett from the National Energy Improvement Fund, also known as NEIF, on the MORE loan details and application process. Next slide. So the MORE program has a grant component and a loan component. The MORE grant was open from June to December last year and has already been awarded. At this time, we're not anticipating another round of funding for the grant. However, if we have some funds left over at the end of the grant performance period, we may have another opportunity to offer this grant for a short period of time. So what I'm asking is anybody who didn't receive the grant who might be interested, if you would like to be added to a mailing list to be notified should funds become available for another round, please email me and my contact information will be provided at the end of this webinar. I just want to also make it clear that we will not know if there will be another round of grant funding until probably for about at least another year. So it may be a while before you hear from me, but I will be happy to add you to our distribution list for that. But just to recap about the MORE program, the MORE grant can be used for level 2 energy audits, energy conservation measure or ECM project design, and interest rate buy down on a MORE loan. For those of you on the webinar today who were awarded the MORE grant, this is your reminder that we do require quarterly reports within 5 days of the end of each quarter and a final report within 30 days of project completion. And we just define that project completion as the final use of the grant funds. Next slide, please. So this slide is a visualization of how the MORE program was designed. Whether you are a MORE grant recipient or not, the program is here to help local governments implement energy efficiency measures and save on energy bills. This is the typical progression of a savings-driven energy project. And the purpose of this webinar is to kind of check in with grant recipients, as well as provide anyone who didn't receive a MORE grant with the information and resources to help you through planning your energy efficiency project. An energy audit is typically the first step in an energy efficiency project. At this point, you may or may not have completed a level 2 audit. I know according to the quarterly reports from my MORE grant recipients, many grantees have either completed their audit or scheduled it. So this audit is actually going to provide recommendations or energy conservation measures, which will allow governments to make decisions on what measures should be included in the project design. The MORE loan requires a level 2 energy audit, project scope or design, and a contractor. So if you received a MORE grant, you're likely using it to pay for your audit and design. And if you did not get a MORE grant, you can still apply for the MORE loan, but will need to complete an energy audit, a level 2 energy audit, and project design prior to application. Next slide, please. At this point, you may or may not have completed a level 2 audit, but this information is relevant regardless of whether your audit is complete or not. With us today is Scott Albrecht from Richards Energy Group to discuss what's in a level 2 energy audit and the value that these audits provide. So I'm going to hand it on over to Scott. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Alana. Hi, everybody, and thank you for taking the time here at lunch. I'll be brief. My name is Scott Albrecht. I'm a senior energy auditor, so I'm the person who comes out in the field and performs these types of tasks and then does the reporting. Specifically, we're talking today about the MORE program, Municipal Opportunities for Retrofits and Energy Efficiency. That's what MORE stands for. Also, we've been doing a lot of solar O&M right now and also solar feasibility studies. So next slide, please. Little bit about Richards Energy Group. We're a 30-year-old second generation family business located in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We do have many different services, but it will only talk to two of these right now. One leads into the other. Electric and natural gas procurement is when you go out and shop for your electricity or your natural gas. That is a part that we can help you with, and we do help with townships, boroughs, cities, and things of that nature. So when those agreements come up, give us a call on that side. That's the part you can shop on your utility bills. We help with that. The other side of our firm is we help you use your energy more effectively. We want to help you save on your utilities. So that's where it comes into the ASHRAE level energy audits, and there's different levels. There's 3. For the MORE program, it's a level 2, which is more of a, say, a qualitative report that comes out of the study. Next slide, please. Level 2 audits. What is a level 2 energy audit? That's when someone comes on site and performs different tasks in order to identify your overall energy consumption, how much you use in a year on all your fuels and all your electricity and any of your energy consumption. We then help find ways to make improvements, which are called energy conservation measures, but in common terms, it's an improvement. You upgrade something, you make it better, you make it more efficient. We'll also help you identify your peak times when it's in the summer and in the winter. There's 2 peaks. There's summertime peaks and there's wintertime peaks. They're very cold and very hot. The sources of what's using most of your energy at your facility or organization, we go and we focus on the high energy users first, and then we go down to the low energy users, document and calculate out what's using your electricity or your natural gas during the day when you're open or weekends or whatever. Then we come and we compile that information of what's using all the energy, then how to control it or manage it better, or assist in being able to either make it automated or use humans with some instructions on how to adjust things. And then at the end of the whole process is how much is this improvement going to cost? How much energy is it going to save? And what is your payback period? How many years? Typically is for your return on investment is one of the common metrics. Next slide, please. The value of an energy audit. A few things is, one is you will be provided a report that gives you a detailed rundown, a list, an assessment of your different parts that are contributing to your energy use. That would be electricity, that would be gas, that could be oil, it could be propane, different sources. And basically looking at the hot water heating and any of the things that are within your facility that are using a lot of your energy and how much they're using. Breaking it down, next section would be, here's how you can save money. We're gonna write down and say, turn the hot water heater down from 140 degrees to 117 degrees. Put insulation jackets around, air seal, caulk, new HVAC, new lighting, new controls. And these are investment grade recommendations. So we're providing an industry price, what it would cost to install a certain improvement, and then its payback period. The benefits to this also, and the value to this, is comfort for your folks so that the buildings are comfortable. They're not bouncing up and down. Where the zones, one area is hot, one area is cold, someone has a heater under their desk while the air conditioning's running. I see it all the time. And then sustainability and compliance. And that is bringing down your energy footprint, your carbon footprint of what your entity, local government entity, is consuming, and then capturing that data into Energy Star or a tool and help you guide into where you can start tracking your carbon reduction if you want to report that for sustainability purposes. Next slide, please. That's it for me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Scott. So now we're going to dive into the loan component of the MORE program. We have some general information about the MORE loan on this slide. Essentially, the loan is what pays for the upgrades selected from a level 2 energy audit. So eligible entities are local governments who were not eligible to receive an EECBG award directly from the Department of Energy. Pennsylvania had about 42 cities and counties who were eligible, technically, usually like the more populated areas. And the Energy Programs Office conducted outreach to these places last year to let them know, so they probably already know who they are. But if you were not one of those 42 cities or counties, you are eligible for the MORE program. The interest rate on MORE loans are market-based and can be bought down to as low as 0%. MORE grant recipients should verify their buy down amounts before applying for a loan, just to make sure that they know what they're working with. And those who didn't get a MORE grant may still have the opportunity for assistance with the interest rate buy down on a MORE loan. Potential applicants should contact NEIF to inquire about possible help with the interest rate buy down. As stated before, you need a level 2 energy audit, project design, and contractor to apply. And last, because this is a program that uses federal funds, when it comes with some compliance requirements such as Davis-Bacon, Build America, Buy America, state historical preservation, national environmental policy, etc. So next, I'm actually going to hand it off to Trey Muffett from the National Energy Improvement Fund, or NEIF, who administers the MORE loan program. And he will give us more details on the MORE loan and application process. Next slide, please.
Thanks, Elena. So my name is Trey Muffett. I'm the Senior Director of Business Development at NEIF. NEIF's a B Corp lender, so we're not a traditional bank. We're a benefit corporation. Think Patagonia, Ben and Jerry's. We have an internal commitment to energy efficiency, sustainability, and resiliency. So we provide financing options for customers, even though our clients are the contractors or installers or management companies or ESCOs that are actually doing the work. The loan is between us and their customers. We provide financing options for commercial, nonprofit, government muni, and residential customers. We typically partner with groups like PETA or utilities or state, municipal, federal, or green bank programs to do exactly this, provide financing options for those qualifying projects that are doing energy efficiency, sustainability, or resiliency upgrades to homes or to buildings. Aside from that, we also just do market market rate financing for projects that have equipment that's going in. And our base loan structure is what's called an equipment finance agreement or equipment secured financing, where a customer borrows however much money they need to complete a project. That money is then secured to the stuff that's being installed at the property. One of the benefits of working with NEIF is that we have different loan structures that can fit a customer's needs. Also, our processing time is fairly quick. We can jump to the next slide. For the PA More program, as Elena mentioned, interest rates could be bought down to as low as 0%. Our base or market interest rate for government or muni is already pretty low. It's usually a few percent lower than the prime rate, which prime is around 7.5 currently. I think the base market rate for government muni is around 4 to 5. Don't quote me on that. It kind of does vary. But those funds can then be used to buy the interest rate down. What that means is basically prepaying interest, and that does give a significant discount. So it helps, one, either reduce the interest rate or make that loan size go further than normal. An example of this might be, I think we had one the other day. There were, say, 15,000 in remaining funds that would be used to get that particular customer, I think $200,000 for 5 years at 0%. Okay. And again, those are, we're going to do some kind of backwards calculations. Usually we have a loan amount and then we have a cost to buy it down to 0% or even reduced rate. So that money that you have left over to buy the rate down does not limit you from borrowing more. We do have a $2,000 minimum, but you can finance as much as needed for these projects, and we can apply those funds to buy the rate down to whatever it gets to. Or as one customer asked, hey, we have this much left over, how much can we finance at 0%? So there's kind of two ways to look at this: is how low can we get the rate? We know we need to borrow $200,000. We have this much in funds left over. How low can we get that rate? Or we want to be sure that we're only doing a 0% loan. How much money can we get with the leftover funds that we have? So we'll help you figure that out. We don't see any issue. This is, our underwriting is strictly credit based. We have not to date, I don't think, have had a municipality that was not approved. So that's the good news. We still have to go through that traditional underwriting process, but it's very simple and usually pretty quick. Usually 3 to 5 business days to to actually do that underwriting once we have the requested documents. We can get to that on the next slide. There's a couple different ways that you can apply. Usually, because most of our clients are the actual contractors, the contractor does have to be approved, and we'll get to that in a second. You can use a contract that's already approved with NEIF. We do have a list of approved contractors on our website under our Find a Contractor tool. Otherwise, if per your requirements, you have to send us out as an RFP or a bidding process, we can get your contractor approved with NEIF. Pretty simple process. They can build, or we can build, a monthly payment proposal for you to show you what those monthly payments would look like for the amount that you want to borrow and the remaining funds that you want to use to buy the interest rate down. So we can show you, what those payments would look like. Normally it's 1 to 7 year terms, but I think with this program, we're going out as far as 15 years. And so again, we can work with what term are you looking for, what that monthly payment's going to look like. And to do that, we would need a filled out application. When you fill out the application, we're going to request a scope of work or proposal or estimate from the contractor that you're working with. That would be different than the scope that's coming with the audit. As Scott mentioned, normally your energy audit will have a scope of recommendations, but that might not always be the final scope, depending on the cost and what funds you have available or what funds you want to borrow. And so we want that final scope. So we want the final scope and cost from the contractor along with your filled out application. The application literally takes 2 to 3 minutes to fill out. We will also need the actual level 2 energy audit uploaded, and then we'll walk you through the process to get the contractor set up with the Davis-Bacon requirements and verify that that account is set up. I think that's the only document set that we need, and then we can do the underwriting. Like I said, 3 to 5 day turnaround. For that, we may require financials. Again, it's a pretty basic set that's very common, so it shouldn't be any issue getting that. We pre-approve, lock in the terms, send out the loan docs. Once those are signed, we can distribute a portion of that money directly to the contractor for materials, down payment, deposit, etc. And then once the project's complete, we'll confirm with the customer, we'll confirm with PETA, with a PM More program, and then we'll release the remaining funds to the contractor directly. And you don't have to finance, obviously. We're not going to, tell anybody they have to finance. We don't really push financing on people. It's just an option for you to have, especially at lower interest rates or 0%. It's a pretty good deal. One other point I wanted to make. You can also just finance partial, right? It doesn't have to be all or none. It can be any amount of the project that you wanted to finance. And then lastly, next slide, is that the contractor does have to be approved with us. Again, that is a very simple process. We just need to verify that they're a legitimate contractor, that they've been in business for a minimum of 3 years. They have the proper licensing and insurance per state requirements. Overall, Better Business Bureau, socials, satisfactory. We want to make sure that we're working with good, legitimate contractors, and also that the project's going to be done to the specifications. And in that process, we will also do a quick check to see if we think any of the recommended scope is going to have any impact on some of the environmental or historical or is in compliance with the RLF funds that are going to be used for this program. Again, we will work to help get your contractor set up. That is probably what takes the longest, usually about a week or 2 to get them fully approved, but we can still do the underwriting and pre-approval in that, in the meantime. And once they're fully approved, we'll send out the loan docs to get signed. I think that's it. Was there another slide? Nope. Okay. Thanks so much. Appreciate you.
Great. Thank you so much, Trey. And we're going to open this up for questions. So feel free to unmute or type your question in the chat. I believe Colleen and Sarah are going to help me along with this part.
And while we're waiting for people to ask questions, we definitely want this to be interactive. So if there's any part of this that you were confused about, or questions that have come up while you've whether or not you've participated in the grant process, as you're thinking about implementation, no question is off the table, as long as it relates to energy efficiency in municipalities. But we're really excited to have this conversation, especially like just looking at the chat.
Yeah.
Pardon? Is somebody ready to ask a question? Well, anyway, so for the folks that indicated where they're from, I mean, we've got great representation across the state. People from the Southeast, Delaware County, Bucks County. We've got South Central represented with Cumberland County, and I see that we've got at least one Dauphin County person, Crawford County. So great.
Yes.
There's questions about contact information.
Yes. On the next slide, if you could just push that forward, Sarah, all of our contact information is found here if you need to get in touch with any one of us. I did also want to answer a question that I commonly get, and nobody's asked it in here yet, but I assume it's lingering on some people's minds, that because this program is federally funded using funds from IIJA, or the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, we use the Revolving Loan Fund and Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant for the state to fund this program for more. And there has been questions about whether or not we can anticipate these funding sources to come through. As of right now, everything is still open for us to pull down those funds. I've been able to issue grant payments already from the MORE grant, and the MORE loan funds have been sent over to NEIF. So we do have these programs up and running. We don't have reason to believe that we should lose access to this funding in anytime soon. So we believe that this program is a pretty good one, and that it's going to still be backed by the funding when people want to apply. Any other questions?
Don't be shy. Feel free to put your question in the chat or raise your hand to come off mute. Looks like Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Good to see you in the mix again in Steelton. So you did, Elena, do you want to answer
Yes.
that question?
So Kathy's question is, they have a MORE grant for a level 2 audit and are awaiting the report, and they will have money left over. Can we use that for the project design? And the answer is absolutely. So any MORE grant funds that you had applied for, most of the recipients were up to $50,000. We can always shuffle funds between the uses for which you applied. So, Kathy, if I remember correctly, I think we had you apply for all three. So, as the costs become known and we need to make some changes to that budget, there is a budget form that I sent on the welcome email that will help you through that. But if you need that again, just send me an email and I'll send it back to you and walk you through it. But yes, all the funds can be moved as long as you're staying within your overall budget. You're welcome.
Great question, Kathy. Looks like we have a question from Upper Providence Township in Delaware County. Yes, in terms of the recording, we will be posting the recording on the DEP website. Sarah, I don't know if you want to put the link to that in the chat, but we actually have all of our previous recordings on the website. So whether you want to find out more about the MORE program implementation, things that you might have missed in this spotlight, or you're curious about any of the other programs that are offered by the Energy Programs Office or any of our sister agencies or nonprofits, yes, that will be available. Lindsay,
How
you have a
long? I'm sorry if I could just piggyback off that question. How long will it take for the recording to be uploaded onto that website?
It varies because it's through our IT. So hopefully within the next couple weeks. And for anybody that participated today, we'll send out a follow-up email to let you know that it's up on the website.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, Lindsay.
Yep. And if you want to go ahead and come off mute and ask us your question.
A little bit more broad. I'm kind of just getting in.
I don't know
Lindsay,
if
it's a
it's
little hard to
me.
hear
It's,
you.
yeah, you sound very quiet.
Better if I talk louder?
It's very faint.
Very faint. Okay. I can try typing if that works.
We can hear you a little bit better now. Just project.
Okay. I am new to researching all of funding available, I guess at a federal and state level. But I'm noticing, so you asked about other programs. Well, so like the Solar for All, I noticed that is there the Keep Energy Loan. I saw that the NEIF is there. So it seems like you guys kind of are involved in a lot of different grants and loans kind of throughout. Um, I guess I'm just wondering if you have any suggestions. I know there's been concern with the tax credit getting removed, but I'm kind of seeing stuff here like the IRA, the Inflation Reduction Act, saying that it's going to cover stuff into 20. I think put me on that. So I'm just trying to get a scope on everything, and I didn't know if you guys had any suggestions because it's kind of overwhelming. There's a lot going on, and I have a lot of print offs and a lot of information. So I just didn't know if there was hey, try this, not that kind of thing.
I can
Yeah.
I can take some of this. So that I think you're talking about all the different financing funding options that are available in Pennsylvania and elsewhere. We are the lender for a lot of those, not all of them, but for the Keep loan, Solar for All, this program. There are some programs that funding is either tied up in court or has been withheld. Those programs that are currently active are still active. And I can talk more offline with you about what all programs that either we're the lender for that we know about that are still active and still have monies. Lena and team can talk specifically about this, but I think as they mentioned, this is moving forward. There's no worry there. But if you're looking for funding for other types of projects and would like to talk more about that, we can talk more offline. But this, what we're doing here is specific for this, the Muni grant.
Great. Thanks, Trey. So, and just to kind of add on to that, or to give a little bit broader context. So, part of the reason why we launched this Spotlight series is because you are not alone in feeling overwhelmed by the whole slew of different resources available. And there are lots of different nuances to it, thinking about grants versus loans versus like through the government. And there's also a variety of other options that are through, other entities. And so, so we wanted to create the series to make this information more accessible. We also, within the Energy Programs Office of DEP, we also have some resources or programs that help people think through some of these kinds of things. Like we have our local climate action plan program. So if you're associated with a municipality, and that's actually currently open, our last Spotlight was on that program. So we help for the participating municipalities. They can, we'll get basically like technical assistance and planning support to think through like, okay, what is a greenhouse gas inventory? What does our specific community look like? And what how would we prioritize planning? And then once you have kind of like an overall plan, you can start to then delve into like, okay, well, what would be really valuable is like our getting some energy efficiency upgrades in our fire station, for example. And then there's like specific resources that are available for that regards. So we try and help with that as well. We also have a shared energy manager program that municipalities can participate in. And so it kind of, a lot of the participating municipalities were part of the LCAP program. It kind of helps you go from, big picture plan to like implementation, like planning, you don't necessarily have to participate in the LCAP program to be a part of the Shared Energy Manager program. And then, we're also, Elena's contact information is there. Sarah and I put our contact information in the chat. We can do that again. But, in some regards, having a conversation or meeting up could really help you kind of sort through, especially as you're new to all of this. So we're definitely happy to help. Oh, great.
Yes.
And yeah, Kathy mentioned Steelton's part of the Shared Energy Manager program.
So basically, to summarize most of that, the Pennsylvania Energy Development Authority, they run a lot of the financing programs because they are Pennsylvania's emerging green bank. We have a Solar for All program that we're trying to get off the ground, and other programs as well. So my best advice to anybody who is trying to navigate this field is to reach out to somebody within the energy programs office, because if we don't manage that program, we send you to the people that do. So you're going to get an answer from the people that are most knowledgeable about it. And in terms of the federal programs and tax credits, we're kind of all in a holding pattern with some of those, that we don't quite know how things are going to shake out on the federal level just yet. And if that's the case, if we don't know what it looks like moving forward, we're going to tell you that, just so you're aware of what all we know as well.
Just say thank you. All that was awesome. And I mean, it's a great problem to have. Too many resources. All right, that's good. So yeah, thank you. And I'll continue to work through and probably reach out to some of you. So I appreciate that you guys are even hosting this. I was going through and I kind of found this resource in and of itself. I was like, oh, that sounds like something that would be helpful. So thank you. Yeah.
Great. Well, we're glad you're here, and we're happy to help. Any other questions? You can put it in the chat or come off mute. If not, I think Sarah's going to queue up a poll for us to kind of round out this conversation. But just to kind of reiterate, this is one of our one in our series, and we'll have another topic coming up here next month. So since you registered and participated in this one, you will get a notification about the next topic and the next opportunity to join us for a conversation. Again, we really appreciate that you took the time to participate today, and if there's anything that we can do to help move you along the process of helping to improve energy efficiency in your municipality, please do let us know, because we definitely want to enable as many communities, many individuals and nonprofits to be able to actually implement these great ideas. So hopefully folks are filling out the poll. So the question is, are you interested in applying for the MORE loan? You may or may not already have received a grant or had been a participant in the grant phase of the program. You could also participate in the loan regardless of whether or not you are a grant recipient, or if you're not sure. One challenge with Microsoft Teams is that if you're on a mobile device, you might not have access to it. So if you're not seeing the poll, you can feel free to add a comment in the chat. And otherwise, we want to thank you again for participating. Thank you to Elena, who are great participant guest speaker, and Trey and Scott. Thanks again for all you do and for joining us today.